Eliza Mackintosh, and I'm a journalist at Storyful. We are a social news agency that focuses on news gathering and verification. Today, I'm going to be talking about 3 different case studies which look at real-time verification while reporting on terror attacks and also mass shootings. Unfortunately, reporting on these incidents has become really rote for us. There is a checklist which you go through after one of these incidents takes place. What I'm going to be looking at specifically today is identifying the shooters or attackers involved in these incidents and going about vetting them. On June 17, 2015, 21-year-old white supremacist Dylan Roof walked into a Bible study group at a historic black church in Charleston, South Carolina, and opened fire, killing 9 people. This case study looks at how we were able to identify Roof before he was named publicly by the FBI, and also how we were able to vet his online manifesto. We first found out about the shooting on Twitter. This is a screenshot of my tweet deck. We at Storyful have curated over 1,000 lists which help us monitor basically every corner of the globe. And we monitor these lists manually and also using a few alert tools. One of those internal tools is called AlertBot, which is an algorithm that allows us to feed through all of our Twitter lists, monitoring for trending terms, and then it will point us in the direction of a Twitter list when some of those terms start to trend very early on. So it will give you a better indication of trending topics before they might register on something like Twitter. So after we saw the alert go up, we went to our South Carolina list, and some of the first tweets about the shooting were coming from the Charleston Police Department. And they had said that there was a shooting that took place on Calhoun Street at around 9:30 that evening, and that the suspect was still at large. So as I said, we were closely monitoring our South Carolina list. Now, all of our Twitter lists incorporate sources that you would go to as a journalist in your own reporting, so local officials, emergency response, politicians, police departments. We have a number of local sheriff's offices and their accounts on this list. And so we were scrolling through and found a few tweets from one of those accounts, Darlington County Sheriff's Office, pointing to a link on their Facebook page. Now, this was the first time that we had seen anyone identified in connection with the shooting. I quickly called Darlington County Sheriff's Office and spoke with one of the PIOs on duty, and it became immediately clear to me that this had been shared on Facebook by mistake by whatever poor person was running the account at the time. The BOLO had been distributed for internal use only for police offices in the region to be on the lookout for Roof. But their error gave us a heads up in our own investigation into Roof. So an hour later, when the FBI did name Roof publicly, we were able to publish our investigation and social footprint, allowing clients to then do their own work, further looking into the shooter. So that profile included a number of things. One of those was his Facebook profile. This distinctive spelling of his name made it very easy for us in this case to find his social media profiles, this being one of them showing that he was from Columbia, South Carolina, attended White Knoll High School. And it also gave us more indications as to his connections. It also allowed us to find his arrest information and priors. And so all of this was incorporated into that initial alert we gave to clients. Just as a warning to viewers, the next slide is graphic. So 3 days later, on June 20th, Roof's website surfaced. This image is actually of Russell Crowe, the actor in the 1992 Australian drama film Romper Stomper, which is about a group of neo-Nazis. This was the cover image on Roof's website. The website was discovered online by Twitter user Emma Quengle. It included text of a manifesto as well as a downloadable zip folder of images of Roof. Now, while the images appeared to be original, we were naturally skeptical because the tweets pointing us in the direction of the website were from a source previously unknown to us. So we went about doing our own verification work using free and available online tools. One of those is Whois, which is a tool allowing users to search information about domain names. We searched Dylan Roof's name and found the link to his website. It also told us that on February 9th, 2015, Dylan Roof of 10428 Garners Ferry Road in Eastover, South Carolina, was registered as the administrator to the site. That address matched publicly available records for Roof's address. This is a street view of that address. Another warning, we're going to flip back to that same cover image. So we became much more certain of the website's authenticity when we ran a JavaScript query, which allowed us to find the last date and time that the website had been modified. Through this, we were able to see that the manifesto text was last updated at 4:44 p.m. And then the website itself, the homepage, was updated at 5:12 p.m. And this was just hours before the shooting itself took place. Now, I mentioned that downloadable zip folder of images. This image was one of those, a selfie taken by Roof. It shows him in a jacket with flags of apartheid-era South Africa and Rhodesia. The same jacket appears to be the one he's wearing in his Facebook profile photo. And we carried out EXIF data analysis on these images by downloading them and then re-uploading them onto a free tool called Jeffrey's EXIF Viewer. The EXIF data analysis showed that 33 of the images were high resolution and taken with a Kodak EasyShare C1530 camera. Now that camera can be seen in the selfie that Roof is taking there. That's the same camera, which proved to us that the images were original, taken by Roof and uploaded to the site. Now, that folder also had a number of other images which pointed again back to Roof. Here's one image which shows a .45 caliber handgun, the same type of gun allegedly used by Roof in the shooting. Here's another photo which appears to show the same gun as Roof poses among flower pots. And the last photo I'll highlight here was of him leaning against a car with a Confederate flag vanity plate there. It's the same black Hyundai Elantra which was seen in that original bolo posted on Facebook. The next case study I want to highlight is yet another shooting in the US, this one at Umpqua Community College. The gunman who killed 9 people on October 1st at an Oregon college before shooting himself was originally misidentified on 4chan, the anonymous online message board. This next case study looks at how we were able to debunk that 4chan hoax using Snapchat. So in the hours between the Umpqua Community College shooting and the moment that Chris Harper Mercer was identified by authorities as the shooter, this screenshot of a post on 4chan's R9K board was circulating on social media very widely. In it, the post written by an anonymous user on the eve of the shooting read, "Don't go to school tomorrow if you're in the Northwest." Twitter users quickly began pointing to this post as possible evidence of a warning from the shooter. Here are just a few of those tweets. Simultaneously, R9K users started celebrating the shooting, linking to the archived thread and also news reports which seemed to indicate that a disturbing warning message had been shared the night before. News media started following up on these leads, asking 4chan users for help in identifying the gunman. Some even went so far as to ask if 4chan users felt responsible for the shooting itself. This did not go over well with 4chan users, who immediately started generating fake suspects as pranks for media outlets. Here they can be seen floating the idea of pinning the shooting on 4chan user Eggman, who's a really prominent figure on this board. Just minutes later, CNN began reporting that 4chan user Eggman was behind the shooting, as evidenced by these tweets. This was to the delight of 4chan users, who now saw themselves in a national spotlight. And in a thread accompanied by a photo, they named Toby Eggman Reynolds as the gunman. A cursory search for this user on social media did not return any results or likenesses which matched the image. But what it did return was a number of archived and live threads on 4chan indicating that he was a user of the site. Trolling through old mentions of Eggman turned up this YouTube link shared on 4chan showing a video, and I want to play just a snippet of it to give you a better sense of what the community itself is like on R9K.
Okay, so basically I've had about all that I can take of R9K, okay? I'm done with that fucking board. Alright, I am. Totally feel like, you'll be back. No. Okay, check, so listen. I mean, ever since the black pill video and, I got some more subscribers and some more whatever, all of a sudden, every single thing that I see post, everyone's like, oh, I hate Eggman so much, I hate him. Oh, I fucking hate him. Oh, he's got a car. Oh, he's not a virgin. Oh. Which is true. I mean, I guess I'm a normie. All right, there you go. So I guess I don't belong. And that's the general consensus, is that I do not belong on RNK because I am a normie. Okay.
So that video gives you a better sense of what this community is like. R9K is known as a message board where social recluses who refer to themselves as robots gather together and talk about their own isolation and hatred for, quote, normies or normal people, which Eggman refers to himself as here. So again, looking through prior threads and replies, we saw mention that Eggman was actually sharing videos on Snapchat from Seattle, which was the last place he had shared a video from on YouTube. One 4chan user shared his username on Snapchat, at which point we added him, and we were able to see updates and video messages in which he said he was not the shooter, he wasn't in Oregon. And I'm just going to play his video message.
I'm innocent. I was not in Oregon at all, so yeah.
So this was the video message that he sent back to us after we asked for more details about his reported involvement in the shooting. So while national media continued to report that he was behind the shooting itself, and the gunman was confirmed to be dead at the scene, Mills Wood replied to us with this video message saying he was innocent. This was probably the last in a series of alerts we had sent to clients, giving them an indication that, don't report this. He has no link to the shooting itself. But from the start, from our understanding of 4chan, we did caution those people who asked us from reporting anything on the board as fact. The last example I want to talk about focuses on one of the Paris attackers. On November 13th, 2015, 20-year-old Bilal Hadfi blew himself up outside of the National Soccer Stadium in Paris as part of a series of coordinated attacks which left 130 people dead. 3 days later, he was named as one of the suicide bombers. At this point, I started looking into his history online to see if there were any indications which could reveal more about his radicalization. In a search for him on Facebook, a few results came up, including this Facebook profile registered for a Billy Duhood, username Berkano Versailles. According to Belgian news reports, Hadfi was from the Nieder-Overheembeek section of Brussels and was involved in the Islamic State sleeper cell based in nearby Molenbeek, which is where the Paris attacks were conceived. Versailles is the name of a housing estate in Hadfi's old neighborhood, but it is also the name of a violent street gang with which he was reportedly linked. The name Versailles featured prevalently across his posts and photos on the page, including in this image from one of the housing estate tower blocks, and this image of a group of young men gathered around a street sign. That distinctive street sign tallied exactly with this one on Google Maps Street View, which shows a section of Avenue de Versailles in that same neighborhood. So this gave us an indication that the Facebook profile was indeed linked to at least content from Hadfi's old neighborhood. One of Billy Duhood, one of his friends, commented on a number of photos and posts with the word Daesh, an alternative spelling for Daesh, an acronym for the Islamic State's Arabic name, which is seen as an insult by the group. When contacted by Storyful, this Facebook friend confirmed that the Billy Duhood account belonged to Bilal Hadfi, and he said that he knew that because he was his cousin. Hadfi's cousin, who said he lived in Morocco, was completely unaware of any link between Hadfi and the Paris attacks, but he said that he had also not spoken to his cousin in at least 2 years because of his known affiliation with the Islamic State group. In a series of messages between myself and this man, he said that the last time that he had seen Hadfi was in Sadia at a beach in Berkane, Morocco in August 2014. That same time period was when Bilal had shared a number of photos like this of him sipping cocktails and swimsuits by a pool. I asked his Facebook connection if this photo was taken in Morocco, but he said that it was actually from Turkey. He said that before Hadfi had visited him in Morocco, he had stopped in Turkey. And this gave us a better indication of the timeline of his travels in the Middle East. Hadfi reportedly became radicalized in spring of 2014 by a Belgian imam, and later traveled to Syria in early 2015. So this fits in between those two periods. When Hadfi originally left Belgium, he told his mother that he was going to Morocco for a vacation, which it seemed was true based on his Facebook photos. Hadfi's cousin said he had no idea about his cousin's travels to Syria. This is another image shared around the same time. So a lot of that is really common sense reporting, looking at available information on social profiles about a person, seeing what their connections are, any evidence they may have left behind, where they had visited, what photos they had shared, posts that might indicate their state of mind before an attack. Another strategy that I took in looking into Hadfi was setting up persistent searches for his name on Twitter. And that surfaced one particular user who was tweeting at a number of media organizations saying that he had known Hadfi and he had gone to school with him. So in a conversation with that person, he claimed that Hadfi was one of his high school classmates at St. Peter's College Jet in Brussels. He described Hadfi as a soft-spoken teenager who enjoyed Taekwondo and video games. The same person also posted on Facebook saying, one of the terrorists that blew himself up at the French Stadium used to do Taekwondo with us and was at my school. I feel disgusted and shocked all at the same time. What was interesting about this post was the community around this user. And many of them responded saying they too had recognized Hadfi and were stunned by his involvement in the attack. So this gives us a huge cohort of people to reach out to, learn more about Hadfi's background. So that same classmate who wished to remain anonymous shared this class photo with us. He described this as Hadfi in his second year at the high school in Brussels. And we looked up the school's website and saw that available promotional photos of the school tallied with the background imagery in the photo, and the school itself confirmed that Hadfi was in attendance from 2009 to 2010. I spoke to a number of journalists who work at our partner news organizations who had come into Brussels following the attacks to investigate the story further. And many of them weren't exactly sure where to start. A lot had gone to Molenbeek, which is where the sleeper cell was based. But I suggested that some of them might go to Hadfi's old neighborhood, which many of our clients ended up doing. Some also spoke with members of the school. So this just gives you a little bit of an indication of how you can harness social and available information to find out more about someone's history. So these are just a few of the many people we have investigated as part of our recent reporting on terror and shooting attacks. And I hope that the tools and strategies that I highlighted will prove useful in your own reporting. Are there any questions?